kids! I am Teacher Joyce and welcome to the basics of public speaking. What is public speaking? Public speaking is an oral presentation wherein a speaker addresses an audience which has an intention to inspire, to motivate, and even to entertain. Allow me to share something about myself. My first public speaking engagement actually happened when I was in grade 3. I could vividly recall the piece that I had that time was entitled The Owl and the Pussycat. And luckily, I won the elocution contest that year. Because of that experience, I am very much certain that it opened me to the world of public speaking. Today, I am sharing as a public speaker who have had a fair share of wins and losses in public speaking. So if you want to learn more, just keep on watching. Competitions like elocution contests taught me that public speaking isn't that terrifying at all. One thing that I learned about public speaking is that it is a beautiful art that would allow you to communicate effectively. More so, it would also help you justify and give justice to a particular writer's piece, embodying the writer's emotions, thoughts, and feelings, and sharing it to the general public. Here are some tips that I can share in public speaking. Number 1, good posture. I believe that good posture is power. And in my experience, I think that posture could make or break one's speech. When you walk towards your podium, looking like you are tired, slouching, it would come off as if you are unprepared or you are unconfident. So, if you want to appear convincing, you must have a good posture. Stand up straight, chin up, and stomach in. Now, if you still need to walk towards the podium, walk straight and erect. Be sure that you are confident. You look confident. Because if your audience sees that, they would believe whatever you say. Trust me. Let us have a very quick exercise. Let us say the line, I have a dream. First, let's do it while we are slouching. So let's do this. I have a dream. Now let's do it with good posture. Straight body, chin up, and let's all say, I have a dream. See the difference? Well, that's just me saying good posture is power. Second tip, eye contact. I believe that eye contact is the start of your connection with your audience. Public speaking is useless if your audience are not hooked. Since you believe in your message, it must come across perfectly and well to your audience as well. So, as a public speaker, how do you maintain eye contact? Simply look at your audience, okay? So, for example, I usually do this if I deliver a dramatic or an emotional line. I stare at the center or the person at the center. I really stay and keep my eye contact on that person and deliver the line. So let us try it. Lights, camera, action. I will rest a while. His face not calmly now. There is no beauty in it. Cut! Yes! So, when the lines are heavy, I suggest that you look at a certain person in the eye. More often than not, I usually have the person at the middle, but it's definitely up to you. But I think that gives it more impact. Now, what if the piece has a very light theme, like a theme filled with love and just happiness. So this is how I usually attack those kinds of pieces. Let us use The Owl and the Pussycat as an example, my favorite piece, or my winning piece when I was in grade 3. Let's get it. Lights, camera, action. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are. You are, you are, what a beautiful pussy you are. Cut! So, that is how I usually attack light pieces. So, see the difference? For the dramatic piece, I like to look at only one person because it gives it more impact. It comes off as so strong. While for lighter pieces, it just seems like I am telling a story. So that is the power of eye contact. Third tip is internalization. I guess in everything that we do, apart from public speaking, it is very important that whatever we say or whatever we express in the general audience, we understand and we fully comprehend its content. With this, before we try to practice for our public speaking activity, we need to ask ourselves these two questions. First, what is the overall theme of my piece? Is it light? Is it dark? Or should I be smiling while I am reciting it? Second, of course, is the execution. You should know how you would attack the piece. You should be able to internalize and understand your piece so much so that you would be able to give justice to the message of the writer. So for example, if our piece is entitled Despair of Judas, from the word despair, so our face, we should be ready with how despair looks like. We should look like we are frustrated, guilty, because of course the piece mirrors the betrayal of Judas. So for example, if your piece is again a light one, a happy one, just like The Owl and the Pussycat, of course you would be smiling all throughout the piece because that is the overall theme of your piece. It is light, it is happy, it is love, and it is joy. Tip number 4, the importance of facial expressions. When I was in college, I enrolled in a sign language class. One of our activities include song interpretation. And our teacher always reminded us that our audience are the non-hearing individuals, which means that they would only be able to appreciate the music through our sign language and our facial expressions. Same goes with public speaking. So, to be completely candid and honest, I have always felt awkward as a young public speaker because I would always see some of my classmates laugh at me. Why? Because I always give 101% in my facial expressions. Because, of course, that is how I internalized the message. I want my target audience to feel the message of my piece, to understand the pain or the joy of the writer or the first person. Most of the time, I believe that it doesn't matter if they laugh at you. What is important is that the message came across. And I believe that my facial expressions is the gateway to my audience's emotions as well. So I stopped caring and I just made sure that if that was how I understood the piece, then the people who would also be able to appreciate it would get my message pretty well. Tip number 5, the use of appropriate gestures. So when I was younger, I thought that if I have more gestures, it would be better. But as I grew older, I realized that if there is no need to emphasize something, do not use gestures. Your face is enough. Your facial expressions are enough. But of course, if you need to emphasize a line, if you need to emphasize a point, you use gestures because it really helps. So let me just give you a few tips. If you're trying to share something positive or a have, you can always have your palms open. Always open. So not too close, not too tight, just a little, maybe 45 degrees, and just point it. Okay, that is positive. However, if you want to say I disagree or the message is kind of negative, you can always do this. Your palm should be facing down. That. I disagree. It doesn't make sense at all, okay? So gestures are supposed to help you emphasize a point, and it's not like dancing where you need to have a step for everything. Public speaking, be intentional. If there's a need to emphasize a point, you could always do so with appropriate, okay, non-verbal language or gestures. But if you do not need to emphasize something, you can just show your facial expressions and you're good to go. Tip number 6 and the last one, practice. I practice every single day, my dear children. I go to the restroom, I answer a lot of questions and try to answer them as spontaneous as I can. I search online for Miss Universe questions and try to answer it on my own and even set the timer. I practice public speaking every single day because I believe that public speaking is a skill that you could improve through time and through practice. The more that you try, the more that you get better at it. The more that you take risks in public speaking, the more that you will grow. What they usually do, kids, is go to YouTube. Everyone has access to YouTube, right? And I always listen to motivational speakers. Example, I love listening to Chinkitan, who is very good in personal finance. I also listen to a lot of TED Talks because I observe how these speakers exude confidence and how they effectively convey their message in such a huge crowd. People develop confidence, and the only way for you to develop it is through practice. So kids, right now, take this time, this quarantine, to practice public speaking. Look at the mirror, try to talk to yourself, try to answer questions, because actually kids, although I was talking about pieces, public speaking isn't limited to elocution contests, to declamations. Public speaking is the sole activity of being orally motivating. If you are a speaker willing to influence an audience, willing to entertain, to motivate, and to inspire an audience, you could already be a public speaker. So that is very important, kids. Before I end this video, I would just like to encourage everyone. You can do it. Anybody can do it. And especially if you are watching this video, it means that you are willing to become a public speaker in the future. To be honest, you do not need to be the best. You just need to be real. If you observe the best speakers in this world, they are the most spontaneous, they are the most confident and realest people that I know. Why? Because they have the purest intention to inspire, to motivate, and to entertain. So if you think that public speaking is something that you can do, let me just suggest something. Aside from practicing, read books, because these books will give you wisdom, and this wisdom will make you an inspiring person. I hope you enjoyed today's session, kids. I'll see you soon. Bye.